Welcome to Dadograms, where I teach through stories. I'm Jason M. Garrett, a retired Navy commander and pilot, and I created Dadograms to teach my children how to win in life. And of course, each and every one of you are invited in as well. So let's get started. I've mentioned in the past that I grew up in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. In the 1980s, from the 3rd through 8th grade, I went to a little school in a very small town, where I still have so many wonderful memories. We learned the meaning of Christmas, the birth of Jesus, through church, of course, but also through our public schools, where we had our school's Christmas play and where we enacted the scene of the Nativity. Now, despite the strong Christian influence in that little town of Kansas, it didn't mean that we were naive to other religions or how they celebrated the season. Our neighbors, about half a mile away from our home, were Jewish, and one of their boys was in my class, and each year he would talk to our class about Hanukkah and the menorah and how his family celebrated. And we were fascinated with it, curious, and completely accepting. Once we got past the initial shock that Santa didn't come and visit him. That was the big deal to us kids back then, and I remember how we had to rationalize that. Once we discovered that he got a gift a day throughout the season, and we did some basic math, we discovered that all in all, it pretty much equaled out. Otherwise, there didn't seem to be much difference between any of us kids. That was it. How we got the gifts. He was the same old classmate, same old friend he'd always been, and we always treated him the same as everyone else. And since we knew he was Jewish, we usually wished him Happy Hanukkah on the last day of school before Christmas break. And since he knew our beliefs, he usually wished us Merry Christmas. But on occasion, we'd all do the opposite. We'd wish him Merry Christmas, and he'd wish us Happy Hanukkah. And it didn't matter what words were said, because it all felt the same. Merry Holidays to all. But being specific seems to be out of vogue nowadays. Here in the 2020s, it seems uncomfortable to say Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah to anyone unless you know for sure what they believe. And even then, it's iffy. For the most part, we find ourselves just muttering the ho-hum generic phrase, Happy Holidays. But still, I try to stick to what reflects my values and my beliefs and wish people a very Merry Christmas, because after all, Christmas is what we, for the most part, do here in America. That's why we have Christmas break from school. We take vacation or leave from work during this time of year, and it's a little hard to deny that. It's been the belief for the majority for a few hundred years here in America. It's the American tradition we seem to now feel uncomfortable acknowledging, and that is just plain weird. But sticking to what I know and wishing folks a Merry Christmas is getting harder and harder to do. I am often reluctant to say it nowadays, instead myself copping out and saying Happy Holidays, because when I do wish someone Merry Christmas, I usually get one or two responses. The first is a noticeable flinch from my words when I say them aloud to someone, like I'm using blasphemy as a greeting. The other response when I say Merry Christmas is a snippy Happy Holidays back, said with an authoritative tone like I've misspoken and they're correcting me. And keep in mind, this is from people who I know celebrate Christmas, and still they respond this way. According to the data, today 88% of Americans celebrate Christmas. And you'd think it would be safe to wish someone, anyone, a Merry Christmas and have them respond in kind. But we have all somehow become uncomfortable saying those words. I miss being able to say Merry Christmas to someone and feeling good about it, and them knowing what my words really meant. That I was really saying Merry Holidays of all kinds, whatever they and their family celebrate, just like when I was a kid. Well, folks, for me, it is Merry Christmas, has been my whole life and will be till the end. But if it isn't Merry Christmas for you, that's all good. Wish me whatever you'd like that reflects your values and beliefs, and I'll respond in kind, because then I'll know what is important to you. Just like when my classmate wished us Happy Hanukkah, and we returned it in kind. And in turn, understanding that when I am saying Merry Christmas to you, I'm sharing with you my values and beliefs in that one simple phrase. Be respectful of it, as I am with your words. Be accepting of it as another warm holiday greeting and return my words in kind. Merry Christmas. Let's get rid of the corrective tone in our voices as we respond. Let's get rid of the thin-skinned offense we feel when we hear the words Merry Christmas. Let's just let kindness ring forth in our words as we wish each other happiness and joy this time of year. Because truthfully, it isn't so much the words as the spirit that makes any season's greetings into merry holidays to all. So to everyone out there listening to this now and far into the future, this season, have a very Merry Christmas. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, be good to each other.